In earlier videos, I showed you the Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen. When I saw them the first time, two characters appeared in my mind instantly. 中国. Yes, that's the Chinese for China. But it was not the characters we're using nowadays that appeared in my mind. It was the version in an inscription on the bottom of a ritual wine vessel that dates back to the West Zhou dynasty 3,000 years ago. Let's look at these two characters. 中 looks like a flag erected in the center of a walled enclosure. The character means center. 国, which means kingdom or country, consists of a walled enclosure as well, and two ditches outside it. What's the thing on the right side? As an independent character, it was written as this. It's a type of widely used weapon in ancient times. Walled enclosure, halberd. Now put yourself in my shoes as I arrived at Hakka Walled House. Isn't this 中国? The characters evolved over time. An enclosure was added in the previous version of 国 to emphasize the concept of a wall. Characters with such concept usually have this part, such as Wei. Hakka Walled House is called Wei Wu, and they are usually named certain Wei, such as the Dawan Wei. Dawan Wei is the largest Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen. It was the house of the Zheng clan who migrated from Wuhua County of Meizhou. Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen evolved from Hakka Weilong House in Meizhou. From the Weilong House that have almost a non-defense structure to Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen that looked like castles with sophisticated defense structures, it makes people wonder what caused this evolvement. I believe the Hakka Walled Houses were influenced by the two coastal fortresses in Shenzhen I introduced in the previous video, especially Fort Dapeng, 25 kilometers away from Dawan Wei. I'll demonstrate my theory in this video.
Hello, I'm Yan Yan. I'm in the suburb of Shenzhen, Guangdong Province. This is one of the largest Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen. My dad once said, Hakka Walled House is the Great Wall in the clan level. After visiting many Hakka Walled Houses in Shenzhen, I found more similarities among Hakka Walled House, the Great Wall, and ancient Chinese fortresses. For example, doesn't this protruding section of the wall look like the horse face structure in ancient Chinese fortresses?
Horse face is a protruding section on the wall of fortress. Standing on this protruding platform, defenders could see the exterior side of the wall. There are usually several ones on each side of the fortress. The wall of the fortress has a track or sometimes terraced tracks and a dotted wall on the top track. The entire fortress is connected by the track on the wall. That's also the case in Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen. There is a narrow track on the roof that connects the entire house. Atop the rear row of the house, usually there is a watchtower. Hakka Walled House, coastal fortress. I think the watchtower in Hakka Walled House might be inspired by the watchtower atop the gate of the coastal fortress. The narrow track is hidden behind the double sloping roof, making the space between the dotted wall and the roof a container to store rainwater. Look at those pipes on the wall. Those were for the drainage.
so that during rainstorm there wouldn't be flood on the wall. They also exist on the Great Wall of China.
This is something visitors tend to ignore on the Great Wall. There are rows of small bricks on the wall to stop water and divert it out of the wall. Hakka Walled House in Shenzhen reminded me of the houses of Hokkien people in Jiangpu County of Fujian Province.
I'm walking on the eave.
This round tulo also has a track on the roof with a dotted wall. There are actually 2 circles in this tulo, and I was walking on the outer circle. With a double sloping roof, the inner circle has drainage pipes. These are the watchtowers. Not far away from this round tulo, there is a square one. In the 4 corners, there are also turrets, just like the Hakka Walled House. But their shapes are different. This is how the tulo looks like. It is so artistic. Those tulos are close to Fort Liuao. There are near 100 fortresses along the coast of China. They were constructed in late 14th century against the Japanese pirates. Hakka and Hokkien are 2 subgroups of Han Chinese. They speak different dialects and live in different types of houses. The fact that Shenzhen Hakka and Jiangpu Hokkien built similar defense structures in their respective houses supports my theory that they were both influenced by the coastal fortress near them.
I'm standing on the track on the top of the Hakka Walled House. This is called Dada One. It's also on the Great Wall. And look at that. That's a turret. But doesn't it also look like the watchtower on the Great Wall?
The icon of the Great Wall probably is the watchtower. There are 2 types of them, solid ones and hollow ones. Hollow watchtowers were first constructed in Fort Taozhu, a coastal fortress in Zhejiang Province. While fighting pirates there, General Qi Jiguang observed in the coast there were lots of skinny granite buildings with small windows. Those buildings stay intact even during hurricanes. Inspired by them, he ordered to construct similar buildings on the wall of Fort Taozhu.
Isn't this much better than that watch platform? I can still watch for the enemies, but the enemies probably won't be able to find me. And even they do, there's enough room for me to hide. The space inside this hollow watchtower is good for storing weapons, food, and for soldiers to take a rest.
The practice was soon extended. Hollow watchtowers were constructed in many other coastal fortresses as well.
After pirates were expelled, General Qi Jiguang and his troops were called up to guard Beijing against the invasion of Mongols. He basically redesigned and fortified the Great Wall of China in Beijing. Many elements from this castle were added to the Great Wall.
The story was documented in the history of the Ming Dynasty. It reads, after Emperor Jiajing ascended the throne, the Great Wall has been restored, but no watchtower was constructed. Qi Jiguang inspected the order and proposed to construct the watchtowers. The watchtower he proposed to construct extended beyond both sides of the wall so that it could have a 360-degree vision inside. Now we know basically it's a combination of 2 horse faces. That gives a good vision. The turrets in the corners of Hakka Walled House apply the same design. Each watchtower is about 60 meters high. It's hollow inside and has 3 stories. The height gives the watchtower extra vision. Each watchtower could station up to 100 soldiers. It could also be used to store weapons and food. Having visited both, I really feel there are a lot of resemblance between the watchtowers on the Great Wall and the turrets in Hakka Walled House. Qi Guang suggested to construct 1,200 watchtowers in the first phase. A year later, the watchtowers were completed. They are exquisite, firm, and magnificent. That's the history behind the thousands of watchtowers on the Great Wall. The best place to see them is the Jinshanling section. It was the masterpiece of General Qi Guang. There are 76 watchtowers of different styles. You can challenge yourself to visit them all. The Great Wall is called Changcheng in China. Chang means long, that's clear. Chen, in most cases, is translated to an urban city. That makes Changcheng a long city. Sounds confusing. What's a long city? Let's look at the character Chen. The left side of the character looks like the wall of a fortress. It even has 2 watchtowers. On the right side is the weapon we saw earlier. Chen originally means wall of the fortress. Deriving from that, it could also refer to a fortress. Today, Chen means an urban city because in China, most cities evolved from a fortress. However, in early 20th century, the walls of most cities were torn down. That's why today it's hard for people to associate a city with a fortress. In this sense, Changcheng means the long wall of a big fortress. The Great Wall, the coastal fortresses, and the natural mountains form the joint fortress, or we can also say they form the huge walled house. As you can see, Hakka Walled House, coastal fortress, the Great Wall, the country China have the same core. It's our home. We guard it with weapons against any invasion. In the last part of the video, I'd like to teach you one more Chinese character, Bei. There's one outside the eastern wall of the Dawanwei. The left side of the character looks like the steps on a trail in the hill. The character means slope. But this slope is usually in the water. Bei is a structure to divert water for irrigation. I'll demonstrate how Bei works with one that dates back to the 10th century and is still in use now. Bei is like a dam with a slope and it's lower than the riverbank. It's usually located where the river bends. This bay diverts water to the canals here to irrigate the land. But when water rises during high water seasons or after strong rainstorm, because the dam is lower than the riverbank, it would be submerged into the river and the water would run into the main channel of the river. In this case, Bei alleviates flooding. So it works like an automatic switch. This bay has irrigated around 7,000 acres of land for over 10 centuries. The bay at Dawanwei worked the same way. It diverted water from the river to the Half Moon Pond in front of the house. Otherwise, the pond would be stinky with stagnant water. So when we are amazed by the design of Hakka Walled Houses, we are actually amazed by the Chinese culture that is continuous throughout the entire Chinese history spanning 5,000 years and consistent across a huge territory among people with diversified background. I'm Yan Yan. I make videos about sets of interest in China and histories and stories behind them. Subscribe to my channel and welcome to visit Hakka Walled Houses in Shenzhen. They are cold castles for invaders. They are also the warm home of Hakka.